Hello and welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy. This is the Ask Videomail for the week of November 25th, 2013. Welcome to the site to you new members, and welcome back to the old members. The Ask Videomail is your chance to get your question in character animation or performance answered in the video, just like this one, but I need your question if I'm going to answer it, so please send your questions to webmaster at KennyRoy.com. I go through all the questions and I answer the ones that I think will help the most people. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and it is the best way to get the most out of the site. I am so excited. I can't tell you what it's about. I can't say it yet. Ooh. But man, I am on the brink, fellows, for some just unbelievable, amazing things. I'm here at the studio. I'm so excited to announce it to you once it happens, but I gotta wait. I gotta cross my T's and dot my lowercase J's. And then we'll be sharing the good news together. We'll celebrate. It'll be fantastic. This is the last video mail, I think, because that'll be next week's. I am going to be speaking at Autodesk University, or the CAVE conference. The CAVE is the entertainment and film games industry portion of Autodesk University. Just go to autodeskuniversity.com or au.autodesk.com. And if you want to register, it is a paid conference. There seems to be a lot of confusion on Facebook. I'm like, hey, look, I'm speaking at this conference. And everyone's like, well, how do we watch this? It's not something you can watch. Every once in a while, I show up at a place in person and I say things. But at any rate, it's very exciting. And so anyway, just check out the details at au.autodesk.com, and you'll be up to date. You'll know everything I do. Okay. Besides that, just the exciting news and things going on here. I'm just really I cannot believe, first of all, that it's already almost December. My God, and things are just wrapping up. The year is wrapping up very, very interestingly and very excitingly. I just want to tell you, but I can't. All right, before I splurge, let me just let's go to the question and just get back on track here with this ask. Okay, here we go. So creative block is a huge part of being an artist. So I can guarantee you that you are not alone. Besides the advice that I've given on multiple occasions, that improv is the best way to sort of improve your on your feet thinking skills. There is another thing that you can do that will take a bad idea or an idea that's not, really refined or doesn't hold enough for you to work on it, and turn it into something that you should. And it is adding levels to your action. So let me give you an example. And this is an example that I gave, I think, in the pantomime, not the pantomime. It was a secondary action lecture, but the way that this works is it is more valuable as a method of adding sort of complexity and interest to your animation ideas than it is just a simple way to add the complexity of a secondary action. So in that sense, it does both, but in that sense, we should always be looking at our animation, especially if you're doing like a personal animation or an animation test for your demo reel. This is a great way to kind of up the ante a little bit. In the secondary action lecture, the example I gave of a good secondary action is a mechanic cleaning a car part. Okay, just like maybe it's a carburetor or something. He's got a rag, and he's just going like this, cleaning this out. Now, if you were doing this performance, this would be a perfect thing, just by the way, to start an improv scene with. Perfectly fine. Okay, just doing this over and over and over and over, and then your fellow player comes out, names your action, names you, and starts talking about your relationship. You talk to the person about them. Okay, that's how we talk to each other. But at any rate, so this doesn't seem very exciting, but it's a really great base layer. Okay, so first thing I would do if you want to sit down and start brainstorming animation ideas, it would be to take a very simple Apologize. That's a Bonsai, the animation beagle, scratching himself, and his collar jingles. I'm not sure how loud that's going to be on the microphone. I get a brand new microphone. That's why. That's why I don't have the lapel mic anymore, because I found that I was just like doing too many things. And it was ripping the, I was too tethered. You can't tie me down. Okay. Anyway, so that's the first thing I would do. I would sit down, find a simple action, and if it's a lame action without performance, as the question pointed out, well, that's fine, because we're going to add that on, and we're going to add it on in a sophisticated way that takes into consideration subtext and subtlety, and then by the end of this, we're going to have a very complex action that is really worth your time to animate. Okay, so just a guy just doing this, with rag and a carburetor. In the secondary action lecture, what I said was, imagine how cool this would be if you're doing this action and then they're walking downstairs. Well, I said that because it would be a actual animation problem. It would be sort of more of a problem of movement in keyframes and actually getting that kind of thing to work. And that's great too, okay? But that doesn't actually add the subtlety or the subtext to the scene. That just adds the complexity. You need complexity. So you can still add that. I'm just trying to point out, as I said before, there is the use of a secondary action and layering on for the secondary action to be complex, and then there is the performance that we want to be complex, and this kind of does both. So let's say that they're cleaning this and they're walking down the stairs. Why are they walking down the stairs? They're walking down the stairs because a young couple has just arrived at this guy's garage. He's got a garage with a gas pump out front, right? Middle of nowhere. But this couple has arrived, and the first thing he sees is the car and this girl getting out of it, but she's turned away from him, okay? And the car is a lime green convertible with a white top, and the white top is down, okay? The exact same car that his daughter sped away in a year ago, and he hasn't seen her since, after a big fight that they had, a huge blow-up argument, okay? And there's a girl sitting in there, and she's getting out, and she's turned away from him. Can you imagine how much his heart would stop at that moment, at that instant, when he sees that same car and a girl getting out, okay? Is it his daughter? Is it not? And that, like, the earth would stand still as she slowly turns around, okay? Now, go all the way back to the very, very, very first level, the very top level, we should say, not first, it's not backwards, just go up to that very top level, okay, where you decided that this was the action that you were going to animate, all right? Just this, okay? We added a physical level to it. We added him going down the stairs, right? Maybe the bell rang, ding, ding, right? When the car goes over the hose that has a, has like a little, like a ball, and like it pushes and the ball like hits the bell, right? Ding, ding. So he hears that and it goes down. He's going down the stairs. Now we have two levels. One's very, very surface, very, very superficial. One's very physical. And then the third level, boom, he sees that car. What would happen to those other layers? What happens to this and walking down the stairs when he sees that car? Probably it would stop, right? And the point I like to make is that sometimes the strongest thing you can do with your secondary action is to stop it. All right? As long as you've established it long enough, okay? So he's walking down the stairs, he sees it, and he either grinds to a halt or goes to a very, 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 very slow moment. And as she turns around, he sees that it's not her. Okay? What would happen then? Okay, so his inner monologue would start going through all of these questions. Did I even really want to see her? We left things really, really badly, and I'm still angry. Or, I don't know why I ever fought with her. I drove her away, and I may never see her again. Or I'm embarrassed in front of this couple that I'm acting so weird. Or I should go looking for her. Or I'm angry that she still has this hold over me. I haven't moved on. Okay? Or maybe this is the same car because it looks so much like the car that I saw drive away. Maybe this person knows my daughter, or whatever. Because how many of these cars, lime green or what did I say, lime green with a white top, right? Exact same car. It's gotta be. Okay, all those things you can pick and choose how many you want the character to go through, but all of those things are on the next level, are on the level, the reaction to the car. Okay, so we already have 4 levels. We've got the very simple, superficial hand action. We've got the movement through the scene downstairs, which is kind of cool because when you're working on this and then you take a step, what happens to your hand as that happens, and the weight. Carburetor's not light. It's not very heavy, but it's also not very light. All that kind of going on. That's the second layer. Third layer is he sees this and it kind of like stops his heart. But how does he feel about that? Fourth layer. And then you'd have to find dialogue to do this, or you actually don't even have to find dialogue to do this. If you wanted to do like a really beautiful, like 10 to 20 second, just little character study, you could have just like some nice music, and the characters could be moving their mouths, and you don't even have to have any dialogue, right? You just have the music come up. The guy, he walks down, he sees the car, and he just like stops, and he goes through all those levels, and then he sees the young girl first, and then like a little bit in the foreground, the young man comes around the corner, right? And he's got a map, and he's like pointing, and he doesn't know where to go. Then the next level is I've got to gather myself together and give these people directions. But on top of that, they want to go in the same direction my daughter went. And that's going to bring up a lot of stuff. Okay? Questions like, how did I ever get into that fight? What was the fight about? Okay? When she went off that way, what was she going to do? Did she just drive in a random direction? Or was she, is his garage halfway between Vegas and LA, and she was driving to Los Angeles to be an actress and follow her dreams, and he told her no, don't do it. Or the other way, she's driving off to Vegas to be a showgirl, or she has a gambling problem and he was trying to stop her from going and ruining her life, or she's following this guy for love, or she owns a business and she's going off to do a deal that he knows will completely ruin his family, or whatever. Okay, all these things. That is when he's describing to the guy how to go that way. So while he is still doing this thing, he probably has come to a stop by now, right down the stairs. But while he's still doing this and describing which way to go, all these things in his face just going through that sort of like spectrum of emotion. You can just read that and feel that, okay? And I also like to say that gesture with your secondary action, right? So, you're cleaning whatever, use your body, kind of like indicate and point, and, like if you're right there, you can use your finger, like, yeah, down that way. Or use the rag, like go around the corner and blah, 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 that kind of thing, okay? So then that's the 5th and 6th layers, trying to get that information out while at the same time the history of the fight and where she went is kind of like piling on. And then what you would cut to is you would see the young man get back in with the girl, and then you would cut to a flashback. Maybe you would just do sepia tones or like, light coming in the sides or whatever. And you would see his daughter like stomping away and jumping in the car and peeling away. And then you crossfade back to the young couple just going. and then maybe back to the mechanic, and he's finishing what he's doing, and then it all kind of wraps up with his decision. The 7th layer, his decision of what am I going to do about this. I've been faced with it's come right up, crashing into my face yet again. I've rehashed all of these feelings. These emotions have come back. I've got to make a decision. What am I going to do? And maybe you show that decision, or you just show that decision-making process, and then you cut out. Everything I just said could be done in, seriously, like a 10 to 20 second, just like a mini short, okay? So when you ask me, do I know if there's a good way to sit down and brainstorm animation ideas for animation tests, what I would just challenge you to do is to make it so that your tests are a snippet out of a very intense, multi-leveled, multi-layered performance piece. So just, you could do 72 frames of a guy walking, like he's in the middle of walking down like 3 steps, and he stops when he sees the car, and he's like cleaning this thing, and then just stops and kind of like starts like melting, like his whole pose just starts like melting, and then cut. That could be fine. 72 frames of that, okay? Or the girl stomping off to the car, jumping in the car and slamming the door. That could be a 72 frame test, no problem. It would have to be the last couple of steps. But actually, you know what? Getting into a car, that's a that's a good idea for an anim gym, honestly. Getting into a car, that's tough. That's a real toughie, honestly. So, yeah, you could do that. Just getting into a car. But you'd want to, just so that it's not, the complexity doesn't come from the frame count, okay? DJ, or conversely, the lame actions don't have any performance. You have to put it into context. You kind of have to write a little story like I just did, and then and only when you've done that will you kind of be able to come back and make your animation test feel like it has context. Okay, so that was an awesome question. I'm going to be giving out Anim Gym assignments that are a little bit more open for that kind of performance. I definitely wanted to do something that was simpler and female-based with the jump rope this month. But there will be an Anim Gym topic for next month that is a lot more performance-based, and you'll get a chance to try this out, okay? Think about the big story that your little animation test comes right in the middle of, okay? And the way to get to that is to sit down and then just start with your action and just add the layers on top of it. That's the best way for me. Okay, really great question. Please send more questions. Remember, you get a free day on KennyWarrior.com. Every single question you send in to webmaster@KennyWarrior.com. I really appreciate all the people who send in questions. As you have seen, DJ, Srini, Nicole, these people have sent in tons and tons of questions, and I really appreciate that. Don't depend on them, though. If you have a question, please send it in so that I can answer yours in a video mail to come. All right, that's it for today. Good luck with your animation. As always, rock on.